welcome everybody to the very first episode of Pick and Roll, powered by the Hammer Betting Network. The Hammer Betting Network, we are so excited to launch our NBA content division with this show. And to do that, my name is Jacob, and I am hosting here PipsNBA. We're going to be talking basketball here at his picks. How are you doing today, and how are you feeling about this show overall?
I'm loving it. First off, I want to say hello to everyone who is watching and who will be supporting us and joining us on our daily show. And I'm feeling great about it. I'm excited to do it and always wanted to do stuff like this. And yeah, that's it.
Well, if you're excited, that's great because we're going to be doing a lot of this. You can catch us here on this show. Right now, we are live on Twitter as well as YouTube. If you missed the live streams any day, you can also catch this in podcast form. Right now, we are on Spotify. We will be on Apple Podcasts very soon. And starting next week, we will also be doing this live on Twitch every single weekday at 11:15 a.m. Eastern time here in the picks for tonight. And admittedly, maybe not the best slate of games tonight, only 4 games on the cards, but it's going to vary from a night-to-night basis. But Pip, so far over the course of the season, what have you made of certain teams just across the landscape of the season, maybe specific games yesterday, like my Raptors with a big win against the Heat? Any thoughts overall in the season?
The season looks great so far. Some teams underperformed, which was not expected, but
Like
some
Philly.
teams overperformed, like Utah Jazz. They won like 3 games where they were like huge underdogs, and then the easiest game of the season yesterday with the Houston Rockets, the youngest team in history who started the game, and they lost. So pretty exciting stuff going
Yeah,
on.
and Utah, like you said, 3-1. You can probably guess which of those 4 games I bet the money line on the Jazz. So that was excellent yesterday. Got some great close on it. Unfortunately, they did not pull through, like you said. But um, why don't we get into here the slate of games that we have today? So we're gonna start off just by talking discussion about the games overall. Then we're gonna go to Pips's leans, and we're gonna finish today on the official play. We're gonna track all the official plays as well on BetStamp for tracking. For transparency purposes, of course. So you can check us out there. It's in the bottom right of your screen right now. Pick and roll on BetStamp. But first game, probably the biggest game. Last year, I would have suggested these were the best 2 teams in the West. Golden State is visiting the Phoenix Suns. Both teams really looking to solidify their position as some of the best teams in the West. They're both 2-1 on the season. I'm personally not expecting these 2 teams to be right at the top of the Western Conference. Not sure how you guys are feeling, but any thoughts on this matchup here?
So the most interesting thing about this matchup for me is like the defense of Wiggins on Devin Booker and Bridges on Curry. Like this will be a scoring battle between both of them, like Curry and Booker, and how the defense will be set with Ayton and Draymond Green, and do we see a minutes increase with their Draymond Green and Klay Thompson? The bookies have it at spread at 1.5, so they are expecting the close game, and I'm also expecting a close game, probably decided on the last possession of the game, and yeah, that's about it.
Yeah,
I'm not leaning to any side here.
seems a little bit too close to call on this one. We're also really trying to figure out what these teams exactly are going to be. Obviously, some question marks about DeAndre Ayton and if he actually wants to be in Phoenix. And then there's maybe some further questions about Jordan Poole and how he can really get to the next level this season. But I think it's going to be a great game for the neutral to check out. So I'm pretty excited
Yeah.
for that game. If you're going to stay up and watch, you might be treated to a good one. Now, the next one, this definitely isn't going to be the most exciting game on the slate. We have the Clippers visiting the Oklahoma City Thunder. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is listed as out. His injury should be listed as Victor Wembanyama. I believe they put it down as a hip injury. Going to see a lot of that. Let's just quickly touch on it because there's only 4 games for this one.
Yeah, nothing to say there. I mean, Shai is like their motor and engine, and they can do much without him. And the Clippers are probably the deepest team in the league, and I think their bench players only could beat this OKC team tonight. So, yeah.
Yeah, a lot to like on the Clippers bench. OKC, they are what they are. They're going for a pick
And
again. Chet Holmgren getting injured definitely didn't help that, but that's the reality for this Oklahoma team for this season. But now we're going to get into two games that there are going to be some picks for and are going to be interesting matchups. We were speaking about it off the air, but we spoke about Dallas visiting the Pelicans. These are two teams as well who are going to be jostling for positions in the Eastern Conference. I am pretty high on the Pelicans this season. I really, really am a fan of their team. I love Herb Jones. It seems like you're quite a fan of him as well. He has a big task today because Luka Doncic is coming to town, probably the favorite to most people to be MVP. And what are your overall
yeah, for
thoughts on
sure.
this one?
Yeah, for sure. But the game won't be as close as we thought at the first because Brandon Ingram is out. He fell and got hit in the face in the game against Utah Jazz, and he sit out for the rest of the game. Later in the game, Zion Williamson also fell on his back and didn't return, so he's questionable for this game. Herb Jones, he hyperextended his knee, and he's also questionable for this game. So my first lean is to bet on Dallas minus 4.5 point spread, because if any of these guys miss the game, I just don't see how can they stay close. I mean, they were up 10 with Utah Jazz, and when Ingram went down, they like disappeared. He's probably their best player and most important player. So him missing tonight will be huge. And as you said, Herb Jones defending Luka will be probably the most important part of the game. And if he misses the game, they won't have many chances, if you ask me.
So interestingly, I like the spread here at 4.5 because especially I'm just a big fanatic of getting closing line all the time. Maybe you should be as well. Definitely, it's something
Yeah,
you should
sure.
have. You should be tracking as well as your closing line value because that's important. Maybe a little bit of an opportunity to get ahead of some of the value here. If Herb Jones is revealed to be out for this one and he's not defending Luka Doncic, Herb Jones such a talented defender capable of
Yeah.
moving the spread. We could see this one close maybe at a 5.5 or even a 6 in favor of the Dallas Mavericks. So an opportunity to get ahead of that one. But other key
Yeah.
missing players as well is important. What do you think?
Can you just repeat what you said? Sorry, I
Uh,
didn't hear you.
Overall for the game, if Zion and Brandon Ingram are also out for this one, along with Herb Jones, are you seeing this sort of trend in the same way? Maybe even
Yeah,
more than a
I,
minus
I
six?
actually think if one of either of Herb Jones and Zion miss this game, the line should probably close at 6.5 or even just 7, because in the game versus Utah Jazz, the biggest issue and my biggest concern about New York Pelicans was how they defend pick and roll with Jonas Valanciunas in it and Zion as a weak side defender, and there was not great, not great.
Yeah.
And Luka Doncic probably the best pick and roll player in the league, and his IQ is high, and he will exploit it. Like I just don't see it for the Pelicans here.
Yeah, I am supportive of that. I want to mention as well. This is pretty important. Anybody following this, anybody watching along, we're recording live at 11:15 a.m. Eastern time. The line right now -4.5, -110, widely available. It's a good bet at that number. The decision on betting this should change based on if the line moves. So
So,
it's not just about
just
being
an
on the
update.
side.
I just saw the line is -4 at FanDuel at the moment. So getting a good closing line on that is probably even better.
Okay, that might hint to me that maybe there's some info that a player has more of a potential of returning. I'm not sure, but again, just going to
Yeah.
say the picks that Pips gives out on this show are good bets at the time that we do it. That's why we do this live. If it changes too much, it's okay to miss out on a couple. Make sure you're getting
Yeah,
the right
for
price for your
sure.
bets. Okay. And there's also another lean that you have in this one that maybe you want to
Yeah,
discuss, a potential six man of the year candidate here.
yeah. My pick for the six man of the year is Christian Wood. I mean, as a Rockets fan, I was watching him like last 3 seasons, and He's amazing scorer. Now paired with Luka Doncic, that's only boost his game absurd. And yeah, this is a great matchup for him because Jonas Valanciunas is in drop coverage for most of the game, and he's a great three-point shooter. And when he goes to the bench unit, there is Larry Nance Jr., who is probably switching when he comes in, and Christian Wood on mismatches will just hit at least 10 free throws and go over easy. And there is no blowout concern because he will play 25 minutes no matter the result, and that also helps.
Yeah, I feel like the NBA market in general just isn't as high on Christian Wood as they should be. I'm a big fan of his game, and I think playing against JV, Raptors fan, I love JV, but not a good
Yeah,
defender. And I
yeah.
think an athletic player like Christian Wood can exploit that. But biggest play that we want to discuss comes in the final game on the slate. It is the Pistons visiting the Wizards. I personally am a little bit high on the Pistons this year. I feel like I'm a lot higher than anybody else, but nonetheless,
Including
Pistons
me.
here. You're high on the Pistons as well? You're not.
No.
You're not. I feel like that trade for Bogdanovich just shows to me that they actually show a willingness to win. When I say high on the Pistons, I mean like 32, 33 wins because their total was set
I
around 28
mean,
and a half.
Bojan is my guy. I mean, I'm Croatian, he's Croatian. I know
Right.
him. I don't think he wants to be there and play hard every night, but it is what it is this late into his career. And yeah, but my concern about them is not on the offensive side of the floor. They have a lot
Of
of
course.
talent there, but their defense is just atrocious. I mean, they are playing some mixes of drop coverage and switching, and it's not going well for them. I'll just say, like, in the first three games, they had Maturin scoring 27 on them, Halliburton 24, a blowout loss to the Knicks, and we saw like four players going 17 plus points. Then a game with Orlando, who is probably one of the weakest team uh, on the East, and this we saw Banquero scoring 27, Sachs 21, Wagner 20. So I mean, when they are facing any team, their main players usually score way above their average because they are soft switching defense and drop coverage with Stewart. And when you switch, you just need like a good rim protector and help side defender, and they don't have any. So that's why I choose to pick Bradley Beal here because without rim protection and his game in isolations and stuff, just he should be able to score like at will.
Seems kind
Uh,
of crazy that, you got Bradley Beal here at 22 and a half. Again, amidst, I'm aware, like as much as I like the Pistons to win 30 plus this season, defense definitely is a big concern. And Bradley Beal a couple seasons ago, obviously this is not relevant to the current betting line, but just seeing him at 22 and a half against a poor Pistons defense when he was
yeah, but
averaging 30 per game formerly.
he's minus 120 on 120 on MGM.
Oh, sorry. That must
Yeah,
have been on me when
yeah.
I created this, but minus 120 for Bradley Beal at MGM is the best price. My apologies for that.
Uh,
But good line here. Like I said, 22 and a half for
also,
Bradley Beal.
also incredible for Bradley Beal to see this line. Like he was scoring 30 plus points like 2 seasons ago. Like easy every night 35 40 points, and now we have 22 and a half. He's a bit more passive to start the year, but he had a very difficult matchups in the last two games in a very slow paced games. First one was against the Bulls. He got like Caruso and Aya Dosun on him all the time, and they were like blitzing him sometimes and stuff. And the next game was Cleveland, obviously one of the best interior defenses in the league, which is problem because Bradley Beal doesn't shoot many threes, and he was also guarded by Okoro, and yeah, and he still went over this line. So I expect him today in this easy matchup for him to easily go 25 plus points.
Yeah, teams with good defenses like to just take Bradley Beal out of the game as much as possible, live with whatever anybody else in the
Yeah,
Wizards does because it's the Wizards. But for Pistons team, like you said, doesn't have a good defense. even focusing on Bradley Beal, they probably won't be able to stop him. So we love that play. We will lock that in and track this one as well. This is the official pick. Bradley Beal, just to reiterate, over 22.5 points available at -120 at BetMGM. Any final thoughts before we wrap up our first official episode?
I hope we start with a win.
Yeah, let's get out to a win. You always want to start with a win. You don't want to be like the Philadelphia 76ers, 0-3 to start the season, losing to the San Antonio Spurs. Embarrassing loss for them. So let's grab a win here and hope Bradley Beal is going to help us do it. But that is it for us at Pick and Roll today. Like I said, we go live on this show every single weekday at 11:15 a.m. Eastern time, and we're giving out Pips' favorite plays on those shows. You can find this on Twitter. You can find this on YouTube Live. You can also find this on your favorite podcast platform as well. After, you can't catch the live stream, and we'll be on Twitch next week. You catch me on Twitter at Jacob Gramegna and on my YouTube channel, Amateur Sports. Make sure you're following PipsNBA on Twitter at PipsNBA, PIPSNBA, for more from Pips. And we will see you tomorrow for some more NBA content.
Bye.